This is the PKF Texas Entrepreneur's Playbook. I'm Jen Lemansky, and I'm back again with Danielle Supkis Cheek, a director and one of the faces of our data analytics team. Danielle, welcome back to the Playbook.
Thank you again.
So, in this era of technology, and I mentioned in the intro data analytics,
Yes.
One of the pieces of that is data visualization. What are you seeing in that space, and how do you work with clients on that?
Yeah, so data visualization is what sounds like a scary term. People don't really exactly know what it is. It pretty much is a fancy word for pictures or graphs.
Nice, okay.
It's just summing up data in a graph or a picture of some sort. And a lot of people still seem to be very afraid to start, very afraid of what do I need to invest, afraid of what do I need to do. And what the message we're trying to get out to people is that you don't have to be afraid. It doesn't have to be big. It can start small. It can start with a small data set that you have and just start building up and finding those nuggets of useful information to show the value of proceeding with the progress and process and see, is it worth investing in more? And what people I think are finding the most is that they're starting to answer their own questions with their own data, and then they're getting and asking better questions.
That's
when they start
cool.
asking better questions, they start getting sometimes better information, but sometimes not. And that's where we're seeing is the larger scale investments. It's not so much the actual data monitoring or data visualization program that's costing so much. It's the, oh, well, I got the taste of data and I know what I can get. Now I need better data.
Yes.
And so getting the better data tends to be the more expensive piece of it. But
Okay.
at that point, you've already validated that the progress and the process makes sense, and you can see the return on investment because you're not only getting the improved operational metrics, operational information, but you're also getting what is a reduced risk of fraud, loss, and duration of the fraud happening. And so if you can get to the point where you're doing a proactive data monitoring program, you're in a stage where you're not only getting better operational work, but you're reducing your operational risks as well due to fraud.
That's really cool. Now, is it the CFO working with the CEO or the business owner to kind of come up with these metrics and then pull the data, or how does that work?
Usually I see when companies start small, it's more of a grassroots effort by somebody that's just kind of a data jockey type of person that loves just getting into that Excel spreadsheet, convinces somebody to let them go have a Tableau license, or Power BI is coming a lot with the Office 365 implementations.
Sure.
I think they give you 5 free licenses for free. So somebody's just getting a hold of a tool, kind of doing, it's so easy to teach yourself some of these tools. There's so many resources online, and the tools have gotten very easy to use. And Excel, just Excel by itself, before you get to Power Query and Power BI, have so many resources and an ability to do things. You know, the mapping tool in Excel is one of my favorite things.
Perfect.
You usually find a grassroots effort that somebody's just started doing it. They show it to somebody loves it, they want more, and it kind of
goes from there.
escalates from there. One of the tricky parts is that accounting data can be a little bit hard to work with. It has some really great features, and then it has some really tricky features that if you don't know how accounting data works, it can be really hard to just conceptually understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Sure.
In a table of data. And so that's usually where we start getting the phone calls to help get to that next stage where it wants to be a more formalized, that CFO, CEO process.
Perfect.
But a lot of times they know what they want to see, but they don't know mechanically how to get there and the logic to step it through. So that's usually
where we
when
come in.
we usually get the phone call once that grassroots effort has shown that this is a really valuable process, and we need to take it up to that C-suite or that more
next
sophisticated
level.
business owner level. Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, we'll get you to talk a little bit more about that soon. Sound good?
Yeah, of course.
Great. For more information about data analytics, visit pkftexas.com. This has been another Thought Leader production brought to you by PKF Texas, the Entrepreneur's Playbook. Tune in next week for another chapter.